Good Monday morning. Today I would like to muse a little bit about switching jobs. When is it time to leave your current job and what criteria should we look for in the next one? That is what we're going to explore today. I am MPJ and you are watching Fun Function. Leo Mendonça sent in this question. MPJ, help! I have a conflict of interest right now. I just received 2 different work offers. On one hand, it is an offer to work for a US company that build apps without coding or just a little code. They work with some standard technologies like JS, jQuery and CSS. They pay 20% less, but I was doing some background checks and they have this really nice company culture which seems to be really warming and appealing. On the other hand, there is this company that uses React, Redux, ES 2015, SAS and so on. They pay more, provide more vacation and even pay out bonuses, but I believe the company culture is not that good. I need to decide until the end of next week. What would you recommend? Hey Leo! As a developer, you are extremely lucky because you are attractive on the job market. And that situation is only going to escalate for us as developers because the expected need for developers is so high that the amount of developers that we are training currently cannot possibly fill that void. However, as fantastic as that situation is to be in, it does create the genuine problem of picking the right employer if you have a lot of options. What do you optimize for? Should the company have great benefits? Should it have a great culture? Perhaps it should have a strong brand? Is it that the workplace uses cutting-edge technology? Should you look for remote work opportunities? I mean, what is a good workplace? On this channel, I often talk about something called self-determination theory. That is a psychological theory which has a lot of research behind it that deals with the topic of intrinsic motivation in human beings. Intrinsic motivation, it's different from extrinsic motivation, which is, extrinsic motivation is basically, oh, I need to work so that I can get money, so that I can buy shelter and food and the latest smartphone. Extrinsic, basically motivation that comes from the outside. Intrinsic motivation, on the other hand, it's the kind of motivation that comes from within you, that when you do things because you feel that they are important, because they are tasks that you chose to do. It's the motivation behind the tasks that have nothing to do with these external factors. It's just, it comes within you. And research have shown that when you are intrinsically motivated, you perform much better at tasks. Especially when those tasks are highly creative or tricky problem-solving issues, which programming is a very, very good example of. So self-determination theory tries to answer the question of how do you achieve intrinsic motivation? What are the founding blocks that we can put in our lives and our workplaces to facilitate intrinsic motivation occurring. So self-determination theory postulates that there are 3 basic needs for this to happen. They are autonomy, competence and relatedness. Autonomy is basically having control over our workday. When you are autonomous in your workplace, you are basically the opposite of being micromanaged. Autonomy is having a sense of agency around what you're doing. An example in a software team might be that you as a team member, you're involved with, you're allowed to, you pick what tasks you feel are most important in the backlog, and you are also involved in creating items on that backlog, and you are also involved in the prioritization. You have a great deal of control over your situation and your work. Basically, you decide how to go about things, how to do your work. That's up to you, not to somebody else. Nobody tells you how to do your job, and you are also probably involved in what you are doing as well. You have control over that as well. That is autonomy. Relatedness is understanding and feeling how your work connects to a larger whole. The way I see it, it's about being able to stop your work at any given time and ask yourself, why am I doing this task instead of something else? One reason why I think that Tesla is so effective is that they are very clear on their why. If you Google Tesla's mission statement, this is the header of it. Tesla's mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. If you're a Tesla employee and you can connect your current task in a chain to that mission, you're going to feel very good about your work. If you are a Tesla employee and you can connect your current task in a chain to that mission statement, that is going to be very motivating. It should be said that some literature here calls this purpose, not relatedness, but I think that that is not giving it the whole story, because the reason that we want a purpose is because there is an underlying need for us to interact with and be connected to and care for people. That underlying need is why it feels so good to be in an organization and contribute to an organization that has a very clear why that is related to caring for people. That's relatedness. The third factor is competence. Competence means, and I'm gonna read here, the desire to control and master the environment and outcome. We want to know how things will turn out and what the results are of our actions. The way I see it, we need to know that we are up to the task at hand, because that makes us valuable to other people, which in turn will make us more secure, because we are. However, I would like to talk about how you work with competence actively, especially in the context of switching jobs. And a few weeks back, a former boss of mine Kevin Goldsmith, talked about this so excellently in an interview. I've linked that interview in the episode description. And Kevin, he has a very interesting approach when switching jobs. When picking a new role, he asks himself, what is the next job after this one? Where will this new job take me afterwards? In this new role, what experiences do I expect to have? What new skills do I expect to learn? And when I have those skills, what is the next role that I will then be able to do? What will I use those new skills for? And I think that this is such a great way about reasoning about career change. Because thinking about your next job after your next job gives you this benchmark that you can constantly judge your current work against. Personally, I have had a lot of problems with answering the question of, is my current job making me grow in the right way, and is it making me grow enough? And Kevin's solution to that problem is very elegant. He spends time to formulate what his next role is, his next job, and also a rough time frame on when he wants to reach that job. And that gives him a tool to check if his current job is providing him with the correct growth. And this means that he can know when to leave and for what. For example, he can use it to discover if his current job is just not giving him the growth that he needs it to do, or perhaps it's just doing it way too slowly for it to be within a reasonable time frame. Or it might be that it checked that, oh wow, it has already given me that. I have already grown to where I want to be, and then it is time to look for the next challenge where he can use the growth that this job has given him. I think that is such a nice way of thinking about growth and competence. Alright, to summarize all this blah, what I think that you really should spend some time thinking about when picking between possible jobs is, will this job give me a sense of autonomy? Will I be able to control my work to a large degree? Also, do I think that this role will give me a sense of relatedness to a larger whole? And finally, spend some time defining your next job, the one after this one, the one that you can't get, the one in the future, and really ask yourself if taking this job will move you towards that job. And that's it! You have just watched an episode of Fun Function. I release these every Monday morning, 0800 GMT. You can subscribe there. But if you don't want to wait until next Monday morning, you can check out this episode right now that the Google's machine learning brain namabob thing has selected for your viewing pleasure. I am MPJ. Until next Monday morning, stay curious.